Video. In today's video, we'll look at a scenario in which we continue our What If Civilization Restarted series. And well, this world's version of communism rises in the Pink Empire. Yeah, same area of the world, different country, different rulers. Yeah, same thing. Not actually, but same thing close enough. And yeah, where did I say the capital was? No, not there. I know it's somewhere. Yeah, somewhere. Maybe over here, yeah. It's not there, I don't think. I think I moved it around a few times. Well, with the first revolution, and it's not really this world's version of communism, more like its version of socialism, because it's state controlled. Yeah, it's not great. With the rebels moving in to take this port to cut off the empire from the rest of the world. Pretty much. With them holding into there strongly. And then around the Caspian Sea, they start revolting. And well, eventually, it becomes a full-on civil war. As they move into this area. And they want revenge on multiple empires. As they quickly start moving around in the eastern parts to take a city over here. That's same as St. Petersburg, but not St. Petersburg. And around the Caspian Sea, the revolt explodes. With them wanting Turkey's coast for strategic reasons. They took over this and this from the puppet government. Well, the rebels in the north start moving over here. Well, in this timeline, it's a big revolt. And it's the first nation to fall to such revolts. And they plan to expand it. And they use this to move in, and they go around the Black Sea. Although it's not called the Black Sea in this timeline, I still haven't named the countries. This is a wannabe Russia, definitely. With the Green Nation. Is that part of them? And the Orange Empire took that. I don't know. But this nation starts moving in, the Green Nation. With them getting into a bit of a competitive mindset, they decide to go swoop and take over more of this. To prevent their enemies in the Green Empire from expanding. And they start moving into oil. Yeah, everybody likes oil, I'm sure. Apparently, that's how the world works. Them moving in like this. To try to get a better ground. And they start moving in like this. As Green Empire falls behind and they manage to reach the coast. But they don't care if the Green Empire takes a rest, let's be honest. With them slowly liberating their country. Everybody being shocked at their success. And being confused by how this is even an option. But anyways, it is. The growing and weakening empire. Yes, it's getting weak fast. Especially in this northern area. Which they lose a lot of troops. And then from the south, they start moving up. Unfortunately, they managed to push it like this, which isn't what they wanted. They wanted to win, but they got close enough. I guess. With the Pink Nation getting pushed back into the deserted lands. Well, they move up north like this. With the nation being, like, completely unable to fight back. With the front eventually stalling out for a bit over here. And no one knows what this is. So it's scary. With them moving in like this. With what was left of the empire being greatly weakened. With their attempts to stop it, they finally managed to have a success. Which they get all excited because they cut them off, but let's be honest, they didn't really gain too much out of that. Because, well, resources are in that land for sure. With them moving in rapidly here. And fair spread that they want to continue. With them wanting to take this over to make a puppet, but they don't have time. Because the fall was rapid. Well, let's see how their puppet lands end up. With a nice peace treaty coming out for them. With them giving them these lands. I'm feeling a bit generous. They do this. And then they get this land. With the Red Nation mostly keeping control. And they make it demilitarized. Yes, they cause them to have to demilitarize these lands. With them deciding after this that these lands need to be split between two of their puppets, deciding it like this. They keep them as a puppet. Because, well, why not? And they expand their not Iran, that's a lie, not Turkey. Yeah, I don't know why I said that, but yeah, that is not right. Well, they have a few puppets. And it's this world's version of those nations. I don't know why I keep saying that. With this nation having goals against there, in all directions, but they don't start it yet. Because they realize, yeah, that's probably not a good idea. And then this nation goes back to its expansionist ideals. This nation, and then it goes like this. And with them getting to here, and they're offered peace. As they do this quickly, so they can get the most of it. With them agreeing to this. Because this nation decided, yeah, we want that. Yeah, the light bluish nation. With these lands collapsing into multiple places. With the area here fracturing into multiple nations. Fracturing. One over here. And then they got a nation here that collapsed out of it. And over here. With a fairly big area being fracturing off here, and this nation pretty much collapses. With their control in this area, this nation leaves. And then along the river, there's a nation there forms. Yes. Will stuff change? For sure. Will we have a purple nation? Yes. Well, I almost got all the nations figured out. And wow, green looking nations. With some of these nations being in a pretty lawless state at this point. It's that area they lost control over. Well, the blue nation fearing the red nation. They decide to go to war with the green nation to demolish them. But they end up getting an unexpected ally in this part. As they move in and take over these islands. Using their instability as an excuse, basically. But the blue nation continues. There is resounding, constant warring ideas. And they manage to land here. In the south of the green nation. And start demolishing it. The green nation collapsing in name. But not fully, because the puppet government gets reassembled. And what lands weren't taken? And the government is basically this. A little different color. With it being a shock to the Red Nation, but the Red Nation doesn't really mind at this point. With this Blue Nation here trying to, like, get all of its lands under control. In the Purple Nation, well, they don't like this nation or that nation. So they go to this nation to try to get a deal that they can have these lands if they get these lands and this. And to further do stuff, they decide to invade here. And they offer northern lands to the Red Nation. With the Red Nation obviously agreeing to it. Well, they move in from the north, with them agreeing to lands already. With the Purple Nation taking the rest over. And well, they agreed to it like this for some reason. I think it's for better borders, maybe, but who knows. With the Red Nation getting more of it. Because they both have goals in expansion in the region. With the Red Nation in a bad spot, trying to keep both sides from not invading them. Because both sides would like their land. With a government managing to. With them liberating these lands. Got liberation. But not for long. No, their revolt got put down in less than a day, basically. But the Red Nation is not a fan of this. No, they're not. But, like, they wouldn't be. With a vast region of here, they became unable to assimilate into their nation. With a bunch of independences happening. With fears of revolts affecting them from, like, actually going to war with them. Yeah. Definitely could take it over. But their economy wouldn't be able to handle it. But with a lot of the rest of the lands being easily held. But, like, they're not very impressed with this. Why would they be, anyways? And, well, we're getting to the end of today's video. And, well, yeah, we need another green nation in this continent. With this nation realizing their collapse is coming. With all of these areas declaring their independences. That meaning much more is happening there. With one piece of land here being taken over by the Purple Nation. And the Dark Red Nation is like, yeah, let's do something. But once they hear an ultimatum made by the Red Nation to also attack them, they quickly withdraw from their attack goals. Their reconquest. Which basically meant they lost land. Well, that's all for today's video. Please like, subscribe, and comment. Wild Mapper out, and until you subscribe. Bye, guys!